Okay, so then choose your single view app.
JC, please remind me to grab my mouse.
And you can give it a name of whatever you want. I'm going to call mine Test Math 2. Then I'll click Next.
Test map 2.
Math 2 or, yeah. Now click Create. And we're going to take a look at a similar thing here. We're going to take a look at how to access the math math functions. So after you get it up, go ahead and click your main storyboard. We're not going to look at strains yet with this. We're just going to focus on the math today and give you the couple assignments.
Will they take it very long?
I don't know.
Okay, good. Sorry, I really need to finish that project.
And so we have our label here. So I'll drag and drop that on there. Text field, this will be the number we're going to input in. And then we're going to find the square root of it, again, just to demonstrate that. Now, just to give you an idea, we'll drop 2 buttons on. So 1 button there and 1 button here. And then we want to write our result back out to this label. I'm going to click the label twice here and type in number. For the button, I'll click it twice, and I'm going to type in square root. And click that one twice, and I'll type in absolute value, ABS. Actually, I need 2 labels. First one's going to say answer.
Oh, so square root and absolute value.
Yeah. Just to give you the idea of what the project entails. And when we change it, click there. And for the answer, I'll just go ahead and put 0.0 to begin with. Change the width of that. So again, the idea on this is they put a number in here. They'll click the square root. It'll give them the square root value. If they click the absolute value, it'll give them the absolute value.
Oh my lord, the cap lock is so different from my screen. So keep clicking cap lock as it's shift.
I'm getting better at the Macs, but I still got a long ways to go. Because I keep trying to do Windows functions on it. Okay, so now we'll get our Sigaberts. So I'm going to shut off the right panel, shut off the left panel. I'll click the little 2 circles, bring up the code. It's interesting because when I have a mouse, I can easily scroll over to see this. But when I didn't have the mouse, I was trying to do a touchpad. It's having a hard time getting to scroll over.
Yeah.
But if I just click the safe area here, it brought everything centered.
As you see finger.
Okay, so I want to take this this text here, hold down my control, and come over to View Controller. Give it a name. I'll call it TF. You have 1, num1, whatever you want to call it.
What are you doing?
Now this is going to be our answer. So this is a label. So I'm going to hold down my control, drag and drop that. Assuming I do it right. Let's try it again. Okay, control, I'll probably hold down the option. Drag it, drop it over there, and I'll call this a LB for label underscore result.
Oh,
Is it working?
my thing is being stupid.
What's it doing?
Just don't blame that. Blame
I
yourself.
click control. I hold down, and it's like adjusting the thing.
Let's see.
Not that.
Okay, so whenever I'm trying to like click down on this or something, and like it do this, but then sometimes it's just gonna start doing all this number. And you're mad.
Could be grabbing one of those by instead of the middle.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
Now I noticed that
There.
this is gray at this point.
Yes, it's just because I clicked on this.
If you get a Sigabird on that, that could be what, because I never see that.
It's not gonna get a cigarette because it's gray. It's just gonna be not gonna be a cigarette at all. I just clicked on it.
No, I mean if you do the drag while it's gray. So like if you got this grade here, if you do the control at this point and drag it, maybe that's what creates it. Okay. So then I want to take our first button here, hold down a control, and drag it and drop it down here.
Button underscore.
Button, yeah, underscore square root. It's going to be a connection of an action. Type will be a UI button, user interface button. Click connect. Then I'm going to take my other one, and I'm going to hold down my control and drag and drop it down below that one. I want to make sure that I don't got that highlighted. See how that's blue when I put it up here? You want it to be down here, then lit up. And this can be a button, underscore absolute value. Connection will be an action. Type will be a UI button, and then I'll click connect. Now go ahead and run your code just to see how that works.
Fortunately, you don't have to invert the string.
Nope. Okay. This will tell you if you get a Sigabird or not.
No.
Of course, our code doesn't do anything because there's no code yet.
Apple respond to the Sigabird error. You understand you guys are getting random Sigabird errors. Where can you fix it?
Now we're going to program the square root now. So you do var, and then I'm going to call it num1 colon, and then double.
You need to turn off that stupid editor.
And then I'll say num1 is equal to, and I'm going to say double, beginning parentheses, and then what do I call it? TF underscore num1 dot text, exclamation, close parentheses, another exclamation. So to bring in that value from that text field, you have to put both of those in there. I finally figured out the pattern. Now, you can just modify num1. So you can say num1 is equal to square root, beginning parentheses, num1, closing parentheses. And then you want to write it back out to the label. So we'll do lb underscore result dot text equals string num1.
I'm saying it's just.
So we'll run that to see if it works. If I put 25 in there and click the square root, it gives me 5, which is correct.
27, which is correct. It doesn't. You fool. I almost had to consider my own. Yeah, you
Now we also want to do that same type of code down here in the absolute value. You can copy that. So if you right click on it and do a copy, I don't know why it won't let you do a paste. I think if you do a right click here and try to do a paste, oh no, it did. There's one of the applications on MacBook it wouldn't let me do that. I had to do the Command V. But instead of square root, what do you think I want? Yeah. ABS. So now if I run it, if I put negative 33 in here, I don't know what square root will give you. Maybe crash. Not a number is what that stands for. In programming, when you see NaN, that's not a number because the square you can't have the square root of negative 33.
Isn't big enough to see anything except n.
Then you click absolute value, and it gives you a positive 33, which is the way it should work.
I've only seen 3.
Now, we don't want to say NaN, do we? So you could check that with an if statement, and that'll be part of the project. I hadn't thought about that for the other one. But to check it, to see if it's putting in a negative value, and then handle that appropriately.
Or with the other one, it won't even let you put it on negative. So.
Right, because it locked it down, didn't it? Yeah. Now, just like before, what I want you to do is create a little calculator. Arrange these pleasing to the eye, and we obviously want square root. We want absolute value. Stop. You see there's a cosine. There's a sine, tangent.
You have so many parentheses at the end.
Yeah, log. And you see there's a log base 10. So you want to, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Didn't we have 8 before?
No, only had 7.
Only had 7? Okay. So those are the ones you want to create the buttons for. We're eventually going to actually create a little mini calculator where you put in like 3, hit the plus, then you put 5 in, and do an equals, and it'll calculate that. But that's what I want for that. Text field here, all these buttons. You click the button and it does that. So you need to make a connection for each button, don't you? Well, let me go ahead and close that one. Actually, I guess I just do a new. No, there's close project. Then I'm going to create a new Xcode project. Single view app.
Oh, are we doing? I was like starting on budgets.
And call it test yet again. I need to go through and delete all these.
Yeah.
Click create. And then we'll go into the design. So if you don't see the elements here, you can turn on your right panel and then click the little lines. And we'll have 4 text fields in all. I have a button in there. Some labels maybe. This first one, let's say number 1. Or actually, I just have to say number. And let's have this say number. This one, I'll have it say sum. This one, I'll have it say product. I guess these would have been better as labels. Let me delete those. Delete that. Delete that. I'll drop labels on there. And change that to 0 initially. Resize it back. Now this one changed to 0. Resize it back. And the button, I'll have it say calculate. How do you get what? You click it and press delete.
You just click on it. Here, let me see. Literally watch. This one. Gotta pass the delete button. Yeah, I look at everything.
Now I'm going to shut off my left panel, right panel. Go over my code here. Again, we need to make the connections for those labels and those text fields. So I'm going to click the text field here, hold down my control, drag and drop it below UI view controller. I'll call this TF_num1. Take my next one, click it, hold down with the control. TF and num2. Take the sum, hold down my control, drag and drop it. LB underscore sum, or you could do sum1, whatever. And then I'll click this one, hold down my control, drag and drop it. LB underscore product. That makes our connections. So now I want to handle this button. So I'm holding down my control, drag and drop it down here, and lit up. And I'll just call it button click. Nothing special we're doing here. I'll do an action. And do the drop down here, user interface button. And then click on connect. Now before we do anything, we'll do a Sigabert check. So we'll run that. Okay, looks good.
Oh no.
Did you get a Sigabert? Did you get a Sigabert?
No, he's just, he took,
Instead of UI button, I put anything. He did any. So. And the button, John.
just so you want to start off.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying. Oh, I don't know why I'm like spazzing out. I forgot I have the emulator.
You know, trying means two different things, right? Trying
Yeah.
means I'm attempting it. It also means that I'm being an irritation to you. So that's funny when he says I'm trying. You know, it's just like, yeah, so which one do you mean? I'm just kidding. I thought it was interesting that they give.
See, you're being very petty right
I thought it was interesting they give that two different meanings like that.
Yeah.
So when you use it, somebody say, "Yeah, I know you're trying."
Sigabert.
They say Andy gets a Sigabert every too.
I've had a few runs of Sigabert.
I've had Sigaberts in my time.
He has to come and help me when I get my Sigaberts.
I don't feel so good.
Now watch what he's doing, so he doesn't have to come over and fix your Sigabert each time.
What is this? What are you doing? You are being very rude.
JC's trying.
He is trying. See, the Sigabert error that I'm not sure if I know how to fix is the one where you delete the component at all on yours. Like on yours, that component was completely gone,
Yeah.
but the connection was still there. Now that's the part I don't know how to do yet, is how to see the connections of deleted components.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
You're gonna deal with it. How about that, JC?
It's just won't know if it works or not.
You get it?
No. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Fine. Got it. JC's a baby.
There's one, he's trying.
He's trying. Yeah.
My pant leg is too long.
Too wide.
This one.
Right there. Whoa. We're not gonna have enough time. You're on project.
Shut your dirty mouth.
It's 10.
Oh my gosh, a whole 50 minutes left. Wow.
So do that and or Android too. You do that one at home. Be quiet, Jason. You're gonna do both at home.
Yeah, seriously.
But it's a
what's
matter of
wrong
whether I want to do them at home. About to have some domestic
Dude, what the? Oh,
What? I have no idea what you're doing anymore.
I have no idea.
Okay, can we just do
Like 3 minutes storyboards open.
Alright, let's just leave them behind. It's right here.
No, it's not. Click into the file. It's right there.
Let's drop it down.
It's not that hard. JC, do you want to shush?
Now what you have to do
Yeah.
is you click each one and it'll show you the connection.
Yeah, JC, so stop. Yeah, clear.
Look over here.
It's keep my MacBook.
See, then it's shows
Just unplug the thing now.
especially where you have two connections
I don't
there,
need
that's
the
where the
mouse.
problem really
Unplug
occurs,
those
like
like
right there.
the whole thing.
I couldn't tell you which one's the correct one, but I'd delete both of them, just redo them. Go through all those, and you delete connections.
Delete everything in connection.
Innovation on science.
And then, after you get them all cleaned out, there's some more. Under that button. No,
You want the button gone as well.
button down as well. Then you come over here and you can manually delete these. Don't delete too much, or yeah, just sorry, completely from scratch, but I couldn't say what that should be.
See, all the progress gone. Stupid energy or something.
Now scroll down, you'll see the buttons there.
That thing's connected.
Go ahead and delete that button.
Yeah, it is connected. I don't know why it's doing that.
Get rid of those two braces there. There you go.
Alright, you're
Please
welcome.
don't make sure.
Now run it, just make sure your signal work's gone. Now we'll grab that cheat sheet brains on that.
Oh, there's talking a little Siri. Well, I found a very innovative way. Okay, it's gone. Set it on this rather
Here.
nice.
You're so smart.
Yeah, I know, it's really comfortable. See, and then this way you get to like,
Yep.
you know,
Okay.
this way you get to lounge and you get to just, you get to still have a sort of desk.
Yeah. You see, put that closest to you.
Now I'll go ahead and start describing this. I know you're got a little bit of catching up to do, but it's not too hard what I'm going to show you. We're going to, of course, bring in those numbers. So I'm going to have var num1. It's a double.
That took forever. They logged out my computer, JC. You're the one who's doing it. You're the one who can't get anything right.
There we go. And I'm going to do a comma num2. So then num1 is going to equal to double, and then tf num1 dot text exclamation beginning or closing parentheses exclamation num2 is going to equal to double tf num2 dot text exclamation close parentheses exclamation. I'm going to declare a function up here.
Was it that map if or something you were doing?
No. I'm just going to do add numbers. Well, actually, not add numbers. Math it.
Map if.
Then I'll do a by, and I'll say n1 is a double, comma n2 is a double, and then I'll do my
It's really spicy.
do a dash greater than, and I'm gonna have double. Let's see if I can remember the syntax. I think it's double with comma. It doesn't like the.
Yeah, it's really not like something I'm doing.
Some of that series.
If that doesn't do it, then I'll look it up. Okay, it seems to like that. Now I'm bringing in those numbers. I'm bringing in n1 and n2. And so now I want to do a calculation. So I'll do var sum, comma, product. Make them doubles. Sum is going to equal to n1 plus n2. Product is equal to n1 times n2. And then I'm going to return sum, comma, product. Now down here in my button click, I'm going to have a couple more variables. I'll have sum and product down here. Let's see if I remember the syntax here. I don't know if I need parentheses or not. Sum, comma, product equals to math it, num1, num2. Consecutive element must be separated by semicolon. Insert a semicolon. Okay, I remembered it incorrectly.
Oh my lord. So much
Yeah,
stuff.
doesn't like that.
I know. There's so many errors right now. Yes, and one error.
I may have to go look at the Swift reference.
Okay.
Okay, missing arguments by, into, and call. Replace num1 with num2. By num1. I'm going to try it again. Math it. There. I don't know what I did the first time where that didn't pop up. Okay, so then I'll pass in num1, and I'll click here and pass in num2.
Yeah, I'm not getting these things to pop up since I don't have that many games. MacBook. We turn off the.
Yeah, I really wish I could have gotten that one.
Just turn it back on. Editor.
Then we want to write the sum and product back out to the screen.
Unresolved identifier product. Can I see what you have real quick?
Yeah.
How don't know why I'm getting this error. I think I just same thing to you.
I'll look at it here in a little bit. Let me check to see if mine's working though.
Yes, it is. Just want to read it.
Oh.
Where that's at. That wasn't it though, was it? Was it?
No.
So if you choose that one,
Yeah, you can check.
No.
I never shut mine off, so I don't know.
I'm so annoyed with it. Stop doing this, please.
Oh, there it is. Show code. Was that code coverage?
Ow.
Liam, what was that one we chose for yours?
Um.
No, it wasn't show code. You get it?
Yeah, you got it.
Was it completions?
Yes, it's completion.
I'm
Okay.
not even getting it still. Oh, I see.
Well, let me run this and see what it looks like, and then I'll get you started with the projects.
See, you doubt me.
You doubt me?
You don't believe in me, Jason.
Now, if I come here and I put in 3 and 5 and click calculate, 3 plus 5 is 8. 3 times 5 is 15.
Oh, yeah, onward.
So what we did is we passed in 2 parameters.
Yep.
And then we told it we're returning 2 items. And I forget to put the parentheses around it. Make sure you have the parentheses around it. And then you just had to put parentheses around it down here. And then you can have your first variable name, comma, second variable name. Now the project, I want you to program in the quadratic formula. With the quadratic formula, you'll bring in 3 numbers. Typically, those numbers that you bring in are called A, B, and C. So these would be text fields. Then you're going to call a function. And just to give you an idea what the function is going to look like, you got your function, quadratic formula. I'll just say QF so I can show it. By A, which is a double, comma B, which is going to be a double, comma C, which is going to be a double. Now, it should be on the same line, but I'm doing this down this next line just so you can see it.
Oh.
And then I do a dash greater than, and I'm going to return double, double. So that's how your function header should look. Now the quadratic formula.
Is it built into it like that?
Well, if it is, I don't want you to use it. I want you to calculate it.
Oh my gosh.
And
Make sure that when you're done. Remember.
quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus, and actually negative b plus, and then you got your square root of your b squared minus 4ac. Now you'll have to translate this and figure out how to program it. 2a. And then the other one is negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Those are your 2 calculations. Now that caret's not going to work, so you don't type in exactly as you see it here.
Okay.
You have to figure out how to do the exponent. We've looked at that already. There's a very easy way.
There's already a program thing in there.
There's a function for it, and there's another way you can do it with just mathematics.
Hey, Liam, after you're done with that, keep them here.
But that would be your 2 projects. You got your calculator one I described earlier,
Yeah.
and then you got the programming the quadratic formula.
So for some reason, it's not like it says my code's not like myself.
You compare it against this.
Yeah, I've done. Oh, I think it's some product. Hold up.